Well, the purpose of this group is really collaboration. We want to have an opportunity for others in the industry to not feel like you're competing against each other. A lot of us are located in different markets, in different states, and the best thing I ever did was reach out to another industry professional in a different market, and was able to just bounce ideas, learn so much, and grow and collaborate with each other. So really, that's the whole purpose. There are going to be these sessions, these modules that we do that I am going to bring a specific topic to the table, but ultimately looking to get everyone to just feed off that, collaborate, whether you're outside of this, you connect with each other. We just want to have a great ecosystem for everyone to learn something new, talk through certain things, bring any of your wins and struggles to the group. Hopefully someone else has dealt with that, and a lot of times can help give you an idea or get you past that barrier that you may be facing. So let's get into the slides here. I'm going to share my screen. So today's discussion, maximize your sphere of influence. Now, I do want to point out that today's session is not about new lead generation. So the main components of this is about focusing on your current sphere of influence, your current database, along with just your current interactions with people that know you and that you know. So we'll have a future session that does dive a little deeper into new relationships. It could be new realtor partners, whether it's new lead sources and things like that. So we will cover that in the future, but today's topic is to address your current sphere. Now, within that sphere, I call it 3 pillars. There's 3 primary pillars that you can be working with to always try to nurture and garnish business from. Agent partners, we all know, is our main pillar, right? They are really our yin to the yang. Now, a lot of us may not like having to rely so much on realtors. I know I get really frustrated at times, or I call it being put in that subservient role, the ass kissing, right? So there's people that have really done well with what we call direct to consumer, and then really being more of that lead source that then the agents want to work with you. I mean, that's the golden rule. If you get to that point where you do have steady flow of leads that you can hand out to realtor partners. But for the majority of us, if you really just focus on 5 agents that you really provide value and service to, you will be sustainable. You will have tremendous amount of business, and just from those few relationships. So we all know if it's a good agent and you've got a handful of them, they are going to feed you a lot of business. So we'll have a quick kind of discussion here on those agent partnerships, and then also along the same lines of the real estate world, escrow, escrow agents, escrow, what I call BD reps, your business development individuals in escrow, that they really interact with a lot of agents. Then you've got your service professionals. So this is going to be reciprocating type relationships of people that aren't in mortgage, but they are in the service industry, whether it's attorneys, tax preparers, contractors, financial planners, insurance agents. So all of these kind of overlapping service industries that you can easily help support or feed into, and vice versa, right? They'll send business your way as well. So, really making sure that you're taking a look at those relationships you currently have, and what relationships that you can strengthen. Then lastly, I call it the 3 F's. This is going to be family, friends, former clients. So that is the 3 F's that you can focus on just that and have a very successful career. So jumping into these, I want you guys to think, a lot of us, like when we just kind of try to throw it in our heads of who are the people we know, who are our closest relationships, who are our family members. There's something about like when we get it down on paper, or you get it down on a spreadsheet, or you get it into your CRM, like you get it onto a list of some sort of visual of who these people are, what I call your sphere of influence. Now, everyone these days wants to be an influencer. They want to be the YouTube star. They want to be the TikTok social media guru star. So that's not what we're talking about. When it comes to service industry like we're in the mortgage industry, I mean, you could be really a sphere of influence for a small list of like 50 people, whether it's people that are removed from you twice, whether it's a friend relationship and they know of you, but there's a lot of influence that you have without being some mega influencer star or, have 10,000 followers or whatnot. So I want you guys to think about and focus on who is that close sphere of influence that I have some trust built in or some connection with. And I start this list is I tell people, I call it the 5, 15, 35. So you're building that list of 50, but the primary goal on the top of that list, who are those 5 top agents that you have worked with, that you've worked with in the past, that you've done transactions with, that they know of you, right? And they've had experience with you. Now, we want to hope that's always good experience. And if there's one that's a bad experience, I'd probably put them a little lower on the list. But working with those, who are those key stakeholders that you've worked with in the past, that you can easily reach out to them, get in front of them. There's so much going on right now with the slowdown in the industry of just the cold calling. And I've seen it on both sides. I've seen the agents receiving those calls, and more power to those loan officers that are doing that. I feel that it takes a lot to cold call. And if anything, that does build what I call the sales calluses. And so I would never discourage that in any way. But we're trying to build on organic relationships that we already have. And the best way to do that is when you already have that built-in trust. And so focusing on just 5 agents and how you can really provide value to that group. Then 15 service professionals, and then 35 family, friends, former clients. But again, back to the agents, consistency is everything. I see so many loan officers that they want to make that new connection. The new realtor can seem like they're spending all their attention and time really trying to prospect and capture that. And they're neglecting the relationships they already have. And so consistency goes so far. And I mean, give you a real life story. Like, I fall victim to this too, right? I'm not always as consistent as I'd like to be, but I had an agent message me this last Friday, 6 o'clock in the evening. I've got, my birthday is the next day. I've got my son's championship football game on Saturday. I'm like ready to just unwind this weekend. And right when you have that notion that, hey, I'm shutting it down for the day, that's when that agent reaches out and tells you, hey, I need a pre-approval. Can you update some figures? And, where does the client stand? My first response to that, and this is what I call my ego response. So all of you, we all fall victim to the ego response. Now, some will argue that you are going to set a tone with the people you work with, that, you value your personal time or you value your family time. But let's be honest, like, a lot of us are not doing the same amount of business that we were doing a year ago. And so we are making sure that we keep our agents happy, that we keep our referral base happy. And that is an example of how can I do better, right? Like, how could I have avoided this situation in the future? As opposed to, why is this agent messaging me at 6 o'clock? She should know better. I mean, come on, putting me in that position. I can't believe it, right? That's the ego talking. But what I told myself is, well, what if I followed up every Thursday on the pre-approvals I know that are outstanding, right? They're out there. Even if I haven't talked to them in a while, and okay, have they gone dormant? Are they still looking? Hey, I understand, guys, it's rapidly changing on us right now. Like, this market is shifting fast. And so a client that was pre-approved 4 months ago, it may not be the same situation anymore with the rate hike. But how could I have made sure that I was staying in front of the agent, that I was asking that, like, before I even do the work, right? Like, I could go and run the numbers and then reach out to that agent and be like, hey, rebrand numbers, just want to touch base with you. Are you going to look at homes this weekend? Or if I want to make sure not to put a whole lot of extra work on myself, I can just preemptively reach out to that agent and say, hey, how are things going? How's everything going with Bethany? Do you have any plans to look at homes in the near future? right? And so then now I'm being proactive. I'm putting it back in the agent's court to let me know and ahead of time that I am knowing what I need to work on or what I need to be focusing on. So that's what I talk about when we say consistent and making sure that you're getting in front of these partners. And that's why I do like to leave this list at really 5, that you're just focused on providing value to. You know, do you know every open house they're doing? If you have your job is, hey, I'm going to focus on these 5 agents, you should know every open house that they are holding, that they are doing, letting them know, hey, can I get you anything? Can I, put some flyers together? We had a very successful strategy that we did where we would actually put together these tote bags with everything that agent needed for their open house. I mean, down to booties, the little shoe booties, right? And then even during like the fall, autumn time, we would put in those just like disposable cooking sheets and, cookie dough that if they wanted to make fresh cookies for their open house. That was a mixed bag, I'll be honest with you. We had agents that absolutely love that, and we had others that don't like doing extra work. So they were kind of like, thanks, rather than the store-bought packaging. But we'd have cookies or some kind of snacks. You'd have little waters in there. And then we would even package that tote with a little, I call it the snack kit for the agent, because, half the time these agents are sprinting to get to these open houses. They don't eat lunch. They're running from the supermarket, all dressed up to the 9, nice work shoes or stilettos, you name it, right? Like the last thing they even think to do is usually grab some food and lunch before the open house. So they're usually starving or maybe low on energy. So we would provide them with like a Starbucks double shot, some snacks within that, and then even some breath mints, right? So those are just examples of some things that you guys can do, and it keeps you in front of these agents, just having that routine, whether that's Thursday, whether it's Friday, in following up and making sure that you're being proactive and getting in front of them and providing value to them. Another thing is they're just as scrappy as us right now as far as trying to find clients, trying to find buyers, people to qualify. And so are they well aware of programs and different options as far as clientele that they can try to recruit or market to? And so if you're giving them more really easy to digest and almost done for them type marketing brochure or flyer or even just a video that you send them with some information on a program, or even just a phone call that when you're following up with them, and make sure that you're letting them know, hey, have you heard about the 2-1 buy down? Hey, are you aware of what a DSCR loan is, right? So, maybe now they can start catering towards investors and things. So like we've seen a big pickup in some of the investor buyers feeling like this is a golden opportunity. So again, just staying top of mind, key one. And then secondly, making sure you're opening or basically expanding their tool belt of getting them to think about different clientele that they may have, right, in their database that they're now able to secure because you just gave them a little bit of information. Now, they may sound completely ignorant on how to explain it, but the fact that you put it in their head of, I could go get some more investor clients with a DSCR loan. Okay, I have no idea how this works, but hey, I'm going to call my database of investors and then I'm going to just pass them on to you. You can explain the details, right? So again, another opportunity where you're getting free access to their database and their list of clients to then be able to have more conversation beyond your basic experience. So